everyone. I'm so happy to be here doing an on the spot. It's been a while, and I'm thrilled to have Amy here. This is Amy Farnsworth, and she is a Celtic shaman. Your business is called Finite Ways, right?
Exactly.
And she's also one of my very, very closest friends. So we've been through a lot together.
Yes.
Such a massive understatement to say that. And, you know, on this path, she is one of the few people who has stayed and stuck by me every step of the way. So very, very happy to have you here.
I'm so happy to be here. And I'm so happy that, this evolution, how few people come along. And for you to have accompanied me on this last decade.
Right? 10 years. It's been almost exactly 10 years. I think next week is 10 years.
Amazing.
Since we met. And it was pretty much love at first sight. So, okay. You know, usually on the spots, I talk about what have you learned from doing this business that would be of benefit to the listeners. And I actually want to start with a different question today, if that's okay. You've given me carte blanche to ask what I want, pretty much.
Open book.
Okay, so let's go there. I want to know, so you're a Celtic shaman, but what was your journey leading up to that? Because when I first met you, that wasn't really on the radar.
Oh, no. I did not say I'm going to be this when I grow up, even remotely.
Probably didn't know what a shaman was when you were a little girl, right?
I didn't. No. Only what was maybe in movies.
So talk to me. Tell me, so where were you in your life? Let's just go to 10 years ago when we met. What was going on in your life that kind of led you to this point?
Wow, 10 years ago when we met. Wow, just a little sketch of when Dawni first met me. I was, let's see, life had been interrupted, and you know that recalculating route that seems to take forever? That's where I was at on my journey, living in my mother's basement with my 2 children.
Granted, it was a nice basement.
It was a great, safe place to land, and I'm grateful. Marriage had ended, business, everything had not gone as planned, but landed me in a completely different situation, and everything was kind of starting over. Mm-hmm. It's that point that we met. In fact, we should have known each other long before that. We ran in the same groups. We had so many friends in common. Uncanny. So that energy was always nearby. But what propelled me on this path had more to do with the journey of my daughter and what she was going through. She went through a very difficult time, and we all have people we love that go through challenging times. But for me, it was extremely important for me to step into more than I was. The nice way to say it is she demanded my excellence. And that had to do with me seeking every alternative. Alternative.
You were already into, when I first met you, we talked about stones and crystals and oils and some energy work, mm-hmm. right? So it's not like it was completely foreign to you, but to go into the level of shamanism that you have is not that superficial kind of woo-woo world.
No. It was basically, I need bigger guns. And that sent me on this path where I was introduced to a Celtic shaman that lived in Ireland, still lives there. I got to meet her, such a sister energy for me, and started my journey learning over Skype to really find answers and to make sure that I had the ability to show up for my family, because to be in that position where everything I had, everything I knew, Western, Eastern, everything in between, I was seeking it, which led me on this path to find someone who made a difference. And I could see it immediately, even though the session was distance.
spiritual journey with tangible results.
Absolutely.
Right. And I got to be really a witness to this journey, and even better for me is I got to be your guinea pig.
Yeah, you did.
For, your 3 years of training, and I watched how hard you worked. It wasn't the type of thing where, I read a book and now I'm going to do this business.
No.
It was serious work, deep training, hands-on. And one of the stories I have about you during that time is you had learned how to cut cords, right?
Yeah.
So just really quickly, how do you explain that? Some of the listeners are going to know what that means, but if they don't, what's a very simple way of putting that?
Oh, a simple way of putting that is that we all have energetic connections to people that form, whether it's healthy or unhealthy, and the cords can be loving, which are beautiful. Those are wonderful, but there's other cords that are disempowering. And that's really apparent to see when reading energy. And codependency is probably one of the biggest ones. And it is like this pipeline going from you to the other person. And sometimes it's only going one way, but it's very much an obligation energy, draining. I compare it to your gas tank. Like there's a hole in it and you can never refill it, or you're siphoning. So really imbalanced.
So in my case, I had one of those cords with an ex-boyfriend of mine who I just could not get over. And it wasn't, I wouldn't say it was codependent. In this case, it was a longing for him, a longing that I couldn't have. It wasn't, the dynamic that he and I have in this lifetime was not sustainable in a romantic way. So I had already moved on. I was married to somebody else. I was, really trying to make my life work and just could not stop jonesing for this other person. And I remember you had learned how to cut cords, and you said, let me try this on you. And I was like, in my mind, I was like, well, I'm open. Please let it work. Please let it work. But you guys have to understand the level to which I had tried. I had gone to so many therapists about this particular situation. I had talked to this particular man over and over and over, trying to work it out, trying to get closure. I had vented to friends for years. I'd prayed, I'd meditated, I tried everything else. And so although I wanted it to work, I wasn't 100% sure it would. And you did the cord cutting on me. And it's not always like this, but in this case, it was instant. And what I know is that to this day, my love for him is very, very, very strong. And it's so healthy. There's no more of the longing. There's no more of the obsession. There's no more of the, I can't be happy without him. And it ended like that. It healed completely. And that was, oh my word, 5 or 6 years ago, and it never came back. And what was also interesting is he didn't know I was doing this. He unfriended me on Facebook that day. And to this day, I have no idea the reason. We added each other back on Facebook a couple of years ago when things were fine and healthy. But he unfriended me on Facebook that day. And I always thought that was interesting, that although he didn't know with his intellectual mind that I had just had a shamanic cord cutting, clearly a piece of him did know.
Always. And oftentimes with you, he unfriended you. Oftentimes they'll actually try to reattach too. So it can go either way. But I do love that you said, there's still a love, because
it's very deep. It's very healthy and it's beautiful without any of the bad stuff.
And that's okay.
You didn't cut the healthy the healthy connection that he and I have was not cut that day. Just the pain and the unhealthiness of it.
And the soul contract was real.
Yes. Yeah, and he's someone I'll care about my entire life, and that's fine. But it's in a way more appropriate way. So in this journey of coming from the point you were 10 years ago where you'd lost everything.
Right.
And helping your daughter and coming to this, what is the difference in your life now?
Well, I first want to say that Dawni was a catalyst, okay? I mean, I have to give you credit here, because there are things that we know we can do. We have the ability, but it's uncomfortable. Like, how the hell do I say, set up a time with me And we're going to talk a little bit. I'm going to come see you. I'm going to do some awesome stuff on the spiritual plane.
You're going to give me a bunch of money.
You're going to give me a bunch of money, and I'm going to call you back, and we're going to go over it, and it's going to be wonderful and transformative. Like, that was really hard, but that is what I do. And Dawni invited me to come to a mystic fair.
To be a practitioner at one of my mystic fairs.
Right. The shaman that she had coming was no longer coming. And so I was just sitting there like, the universe gives you invitations. This was an invitation. And every bit of me was like,
I don't know if I'm ready.
Right. And she's like, get a business card, get a website, be there.
You have 3 weeks.
You have 3 weeks, right? No, that was how it went. And that was a huge pivotal point for me to put myself out there and even say, this is what I do. So,
and to get the feedback, because the people that you worked on at that mystic fair, every one of them had such profound experiences. And in fact, recently, one of them brought it up to me and said, my life was never the same after Amy did this 20-minute session on me. So
thank you.
You're so welcome. I'm thrilled to be any part of that, especially since I have benefited so much from your gifts. You know, you're one of the people that I go to, and I've sent, I don't even know how many clients to you at this point. You know,
well, it's limitless because it goes from there. It ripples out because they'll tell their friends and they tell their friends. Such a good advocate to have in your corner with advice. I mean, trust me, she's called me on my bullshit.
What? Me? No.
Well, and I love her for it. And sometimes I'm like, ooh, I love
damn
you,
it, Dawni.
but I hate you.
Yeah.
And it is really beautiful and authentic. And I think that is a gift. A gift.
Thank you. I appreciate that. And it's interesting because the question I always do ask that I want to ask now is, what have you learned from your work that you can share? And I feel funny even asking it because there are probably hundreds and hundreds of things. So using your own gut, your own intuition, kind of feeling into the energy of the people that will be watching this, what is something that you've learned that you feel will benefit them?
The most important thing I've learned is people are drawn to me because they're like me.
I just got chills when you said that. I did. I literally got chills when you said that.
It is such, and I say that with the depth of my soul. People will come to me and they'll be like, well, do I need to be broken to come to you? Or they feel like they're less than in some way if they seek me. And that is not the case at all. People come to me because they are like me. There's a piece of them that is ready to heal that deepest core issue or block. And I believe that with all of my heart. This is why I will work with anybody that is willing and ready. And I teach what I do too. They are like me, and if they want to step into this deeper level,
you train them to do that.
I do. And initially, yes, there are things that are maybe outside of their scope. I mean, that would be like having a surgery and then going into physical therapy and then doing things on your own. There is a process of that healing, but, and you're very much my physical therapy, but for my mental clarity too, and just reminding me of some of the principles, the guiding principles. But for me, the integrity goes so deep as a remembrance of how can I show you the beauty within you so you remember too. Because I promise you, you're shiny. And I think that goes with you too, Dawni, where people are like, well, if I say I need a life coach, does that mean there's something wrong with me? No, it doesn't mean there's something wrong with you. It means that there's somebody who is like you, has something to give you that you can benefit from.
I love this point because so many of my listeners are entrepreneurs. You have your own businesses. So I want you, especially you, to listen to this because we're always like, okay, who's my ideal client, right? Mm-hmm. Who do I want to serve? And like attracts like. So you're absolutely right because for me, I'm passionate about reaching my own potential, passionate obsessed. Like, I just want to shine light on every part of my psyche and I'm willing to do whatever it takes. But the people drawn to me are also willing to do whatever it takes. It's not a matter of being broken. It's a matter of like, I'm going to release any obstacle, anything that needs to be, liberated so I can be out in the world clear and free. And so that's how I am. So like attracts like. So in your case, I see you as somebody who craves the wholeness, that craves the integrity. And I've seen who you've attracted as clients, and they are also the type. And I feel like when someone comes along that just kind of wants to bitch, they fall away.
They do.
They don't stay with you.
They do.
It's the ones who are like committed to the remembering their own wholeness and integrity that stay and work with you over time.
And they may find their own path. I may not be the answer. I'm the first to tell you I'm not for everybody, but I am for a lot of people. And so you took a different path. I took a different path, and we still aligned because our energy is synergistic, which I love. So you can take a different path. Some people's call is Reiki. Some people it's, Qigong or yoga. Like there's so many different modalities. And so I'm not saying I have all of the answers, but I have a really important piece and a process that has worked.
Well, and I love this because I've realized recently that a lot of the work I do is with the mind, right?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely.
I'm all about helping you get into your right mind. The work that you do is the healing on the energetic and spiritual level, right?
Right.
And then there are other people that really specialize in the emotional. I don't know that you and I are really necessarily the best when it comes to working with other people's emotions. I mean, we do it.
We do it.
But your specialty is energetic and spiritual, and my specialty is mental. So
emotions are somewhere in between, right?
Well,
they're the stream flowing in between.
They are the stream. And I think that for people that really are craving that deep emotional healing, they may go get that piece here. And then, so what I'm saying is there's no shame in that.
No.
Sometimes I'll have a client and I'll realize they don't want to hear the concepts and principles. They want me to hold space for them emotionally. I'm able to do that. It's not my genius.
And I teach people to clear their emotions, but it's not necessarily something I can do for them. It is a different modality, and it is one that's very personal and real and valid.
Yes, absolutely.
It is so valid.
But I just think there's something powerful about us sort of claiming our piece of this and then really honoring that other people have their own pieces of this.
Right. And if I'm a big fan of the spirit, body, mind component, that's a whole other subject we could cover. But if they're honoring that mind component, you're bringing that up in their intellect. It triggers something within the soul, that triggers something within the body, and kind of brings the others into alignment so that you can shift it.
It's a domino effect, really. It's when you heal one part of you, it's like getting new carpet in an old house.
Right.
All of a sudden you want to paint and get new furniture.
Right. No. And when Dawni reveals a truth, suddenly I'm motivated to do something different in an area that wouldn't have happened without that catalyst.
It takes all of us, and I love it, and it's beautiful and fulfilling.
Right.
And why don't you tell them, how do they work with you? How do they contact you?
Okay. You can contact me through my website, finiteways.net.
And we will post that. Mr. Gideon will post that.
And my phone number is 801-916-5431.
So they can text? Okay. I highly recommend, it takes a minute to get in to see Amy. She's got a very, very full schedule. But I highly recommend it. It is especially for this. I'll tell you when I send my clients to Amy is when there is an energetic healing that needs to take place on a soul level. And I know that no amount of concepts, principles, talking, cognitive therapy is going to work there. That's when you want to go here. So I couldn't recommend it more highly. I have done. I wonder how many sessions I've done with you.
I don't know. It kind of goes back and
60?
forth where I'll be like, hey, Dawni, can you give me a quick read when I'm in a bathroom in a hotel room?
Actually happened.
True story. Or there's a need. And so it's just really a beautiful energy flow. And if there is a need that is, you need something sooner, just message me. The universe is beautiful about opening up space where it needs to, but it is worth the wait.
It really is worth the wait. That is no joke. Thank you for coming here today.
I'm excited. This is the best coffee. And it is such a pleasure to hang out with one of my favorite people.
We could legit talk for hours and hours and hours. Right. So I want you all to appreciate how good we're being by staying somewhat focused and somewhat timely.
Right.
Okay.
All right. Peace out.
Cheers. May your coffee be strong and your life be blessed. Thank you so much for watching this video. Please like and subscribe. It really helps out my channel. And if you would be interested in working with me further, you can check out DawniAngel.com. I would love to come speak to your group, come to your business to do a training, be on your podcast, my personal favorite, or even work with you one-on-one.